Hi, everyone, and welcome to Two Gals and a Glass Half Full. So, today we are here with the last episode of the Nutritional Awareness Month episodes. And we are here with Dr. Bobby, Dr. Jess, and we've got Kacey, who is a good friend of mine. And she has hopefully tons that we can pick her brain about, and we'll go from there. But first, as always, we're going to talk about our glasses. So, Dr. Bobby, what's in your glass today?
So I know this is Nutrition Month, and what I'm about to share with you is as far from nutrition as it can get, but it has been a heck of a day, and it's going to be a long night. So I have my Diet Coke with me. Not only is it soda, but it is diet, full of chemicals. I know, terrible, but it's been that type of day. How about
Yeah.
you, Dr. Jess?
Well, I actually made one of my favorite types of tea. So it's matcha. So it's ground up green tea into a powder, and then you make it kind of sift it into the warm water and then mix it together. And it makes almost for like a creamier green tea. So it's just kind of same thing, busy, super busy day. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to make a glass of tea. And that way when we talk, I'll have something to sip on. So Kacey, what's in your glass?
I'm still working on my water for the day. And
Absolutely.
I am half full.
There you are, still half full. There's different ways of looking at that. Okay. My water bottle that I did not finish while at work today, which is always my goal, I chugged on the way home because in my mind that still counts because technically I'm not home yet. And so it still counts if I finish it before I walk in the door. It's like I'm tricking myself or something. I don't know.
I feel like it's like the Apple Watch at night when you're like 10 calories away from like meeting your move goal and you're sitting there going, come on.
Exactly. I mean, it is what it is. So anyway, so thank you, Kacey, for coming on and chatting with us. And with it being Nutritional Awareness Month, we just kind of wanted to hear a little bit about more of your story and how did you become a little bit more aware of nutrition and what point in your life did it become meaningful to you?
I've always had an interest in physical health and nutrition. My mother growing up is an aerobics instructor and a personal trainer, and so I've always been on the fringes of all of that. So she was very nutrition focused and she was very exercise focused. So the language is something that I grew up with, even if I wasn't practicing it as a child or teenager or, in college or anything like that. And so what I would say is I had a big turning point when I had my first daughter. She was about 2.5 years old, and I hadn't lost the weight, and I had gained extra weight through nursing and staying home as a stay-at-home mom. And so I was 30 pounds heavier than I would have really liked to be. And so I wasn't thrilled with how my body was looking. But the tipping point was walking around our block at home. And it's 0.67 miles to get around the block. And I know this now because I do fitness trackers. But in the time I was walking around my neighborhood block, I was winded, red in the face, and not having a good time with my daughter. And she's 2, so we're walking at a 2-year-old's pace, and I am not doing well. And that was my big turning point.
Yeah. And I think that's like a big thing that there's this misconception that I after my first son, it was the same thing. People are like, oh, when you breastfeed, the weight's just gonna fall right off. You're not gonna have to do anything. And that actually did not happen. It was actually really hard, really difficult to recover from pregnancy. And nutrition was a big part of how I had to be really actually very careful. And when you're home all the time and you're not like when I'm busy at work, I don't have time to like snack. I don't have time to eat. I don't have time to drink, but when you're home all the time and you're tired and you're lethargic, I mean, it is really difficult, really difficult. And then, I mean, on top of like being a stay-at-home mom, I mean, it's like you're also like, trying to be a supportive wife and you're trying to be a supportive friend and you're filling these roles for all these other people, but not for you. I mean, you're the last person on that checklist, which is difficult. So yeah, no, I totally get that.
I was gonna say I don't have kids, but I have always heard that like after like breastfeed, like, oh, you don't need to worry about losing weight. Like if you breastfeed, it just comes off. Like, and I've always heard that. So it's interesting to hear from both of you that that is not the case.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. And it's difficult, and it's really difficult to feel strong again. I struggled with that a lot, and I was a little bit more prepared after the second pregnancy of how much work it was going to take, because of the physicality of the job that I do, of, you know, being a physical therapist. I mean, I was afraid that I could hurt myself if I didn't really get my strength back. And plus there's that, like, you know, like going back into the clinic, like I need to fit into my work clothes. You know, like I don't, you know, it's just a thing. Like you don't want to like be squeezing your pants on and you're like, well, crud, I'm gonna, you know, like I had, like, after Jacob, I had to wear my maternity pants for a little while until I continued to lose the weight. And it was just like, oh yeah, this is harder than I thought it would be. And I mean, and now it's like they say it takes 9 months to put it on, it takes 9 months to get it off, you know,
Yeah.
and all of that is like 100% true. Like grace, give yourself grace, and it takes time and it's not easy. So Kacey, what are some specifically, like, so right now, also, so Kacey, did, like, we might have a little announcement to make as well with what's going on in your life.
Currently, I am 35 weeks pregnant with twins. So there's two of them in there.
Two babies. Yeah. So we're very excited for Kacey. We cannot wait to meet these little ones. But now it's a different kind of struggle, right? As far as nutrition goes, you're trying to, they call it eating for two. So I guess for you, it's three. But now that you are pregnant and trying to make these healthy choices, but then also make sure that you're fueling the babies as well, what kind of changes have you made to go from like that weight loss phase into now this phase of like maintaining a healthy diet during pregnancy?
It was certainly a struggle. I really struggle personally with nausea throughout my entire pregnancy, and so I do support that with medication. And so a lot of it, especially in the beginning, is just, you know, getting food in, and that's a struggle for me. And
Yeah.
now that I'm towards, you know, the middle and the end and all of that, what I really like to do, something that really helped me, is smoothies. And I'll pre-prep them into little tiny bags. And so I'll do an orange, carrot, beet, ginger smoothie and blend it up really good. And I don't
Okay.
juice them because I like to have the pulp.
Okay.
I like to have a little bit of extra fiber, even though it's really well blended. And so I'll do that, and that's a very delicious smoothie right there. And then I'll do green smoothies also. And so then there's kale and spinach, and you know, I'll put some apple in there to sweeten it up. So just really trying to find things that I want to eat and things that feel good on my stomach. So I'm usually putting ginger in, which is something I can do if I do it at home and pre-prep it.
Right.
And yeah, and something that I want to eat. It's very important that I want to eat it so I don't get into my head feeling nauseous or feeling like I can't eat it because the babies don't want it. That's a trick, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I can attest to that. It was like, luckily later in the pregnancy, I felt like I tolerated food a little bit better, but in the beginning, I mean, it was so hard to stay balanced with getting fruits and vegetables in, because like raw vegetables were like, could not do cooked vegetables. The smell would make me sick. And so I was like, well, I'm pretty sure I'm not nourishing this baby very much right now. Like, we're gonna do everything we can just to get some calories in.
Now, do you guys?
That's
I was gonna say, this is like out of my range of like things I know. So like, do you guys have that as like a snack, or like, is it sometimes like your meal? Is it like just kind of whatever I can get down at this point I'm going to have?
Both of those for me. So sometimes when I have it as a snack, I can feel hungrier and eat a true meal, something that I've cooked.
Mhm.
I relied heavily on meal delivery services that are vegetable heavy, that have, nice flavor profiles with sauces and that kind of thing. But sometimes it's just the meal. It's what I can get in, and I get it in. I feel good about that and take my vitamins like the doctor says, and that's enough for that day.
Yeah, I like it. And so what, like after, so let's get to the point where like now, babies are here. You've got two babies that you're taking care of, and that's plus you've got a toddler. And so what kind of strategies are you starting to implement now in order to kind of prepare for that time?
Right now, I've done a lot of meal prep, and they are a bit heartier meals so that I can, eat and feel full and be ready to go, ready to nurse, all of those things. So I meal prepped a lot. I made a soup, and its base is celery and onion and bell pepper, and then you layer in the meats in there. And so I like chicken, and there's going to be some sausage in there. So that's, a really exciting soup for me. Uh,
Mhm.
so a
Yeah.
lot of meal prep and cooking it at home so that I can control what I put in it, how much oil I put into it, what my portion size is, and then
Mhm.
freezing it into those portion sizes that I'm not tempted to eat too much.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think Dr. Bobby, I think you had talked about that was a strategy that you did as well. Was kind of pre-freezing it into those portions to
Yeah.
make life easier.
Do you have, I would love like I would love like a deep freezer, because I think it's more, oh, what's the right word? It's more, so that, how they have the stand up freezers and the deep freezers, and
Hmm.
like the deep freezers for me I'd like, because I think they hold a little bit more, and they're more, what's like economic, like
Oh,
they're
like
like
energy efficient.
better energy efficient, yes.
Yeah.
Whereas for like my family, I would be the only one that could reach into the deep freezer, because my parents, they can't reach down like that and stuff like that. So for them, they want a stand up one, which I get. So I would love
Hmm.
one of those, to like be able to like really truly meal prep a ton of meals. And just, it's so nice after being, when you're so busy, to like be like, all right, let's just pull one out, cook it. I don't have to sit here and chop things. I don't have to worry about other things going on. I can just have a healthy meal that is already made.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I think like for example, like making soup, that was one of the things that when I was home on maternity leave, that was so easy for me to just like heat up and I could eat with one hand. That's kind of like a thing, right? It's like a
Like
one-handed
when you
eating
have kids.
is
Yeah.
is kind of a big deal. Or like with soup, you can put it into a mug and drink it. And it's like that's the kind of stuff like it just you have to be able to be one-handed in the beginning. And it's so easy to snack and it's okay to snack. I mean, snacking is what it is, but I mean it's hard to get meals, like something like you're saying, Casey, something to fill you up so that way you're less inclined to snack as much. And then it kind of sets you up a little bit better for being able to get back to feeling strong and feeling how you want to feel. So yeah, no, that's awesome. Those are all fantastic strategies.
So you did all of that, Casey, for like you. How about like for the rest of your family? Like, do you have to meal prep for them, or like, how does that work for you?
We really like to take kind of the lazy and easy way outs at our household. So we're very strategies based people. So we've got plans for it and all of that. So my husband is a very, very clean eater. So he roasts vegetables once or twice a week and pre-portions them, and he meal preps, and he'll do his protein along with that, all roasted in the oven. So he's quite simple and he takes care of it. And then, yeah, I said I like meal delivery services for myself. I like them for my daughter as well. So we went on and found the most nutritious ones. So tonight for dinner, she had mac and cheese with the cauliflower ground up into the cheese sauce, which is
Mhm.
something they do to hide veggies from kids. And the side dish, though, is just broccoli. And that's one of the vegetables she'll eat. So, we just make choices about which one she will eat.
And how old is she?
She's 4.
She's 4. So does she get to kind of decide with you on what she wants, or are you guys doing that for her?
We pick the ones that we buy, and then she gets a selection from what we've bought, although she's got to eat them all. So if they kind of go down to the ones she doesn't really like, that's just life.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, at some point there's only so much left in the fridge, so that's what we tell our son, because he's big enough now to open the fridge and kind of look in there, see what he wants, and he'll say something that's not in there, and I'm like, I don't know where you're expecting that's going to come from. Like, you might want that, and that's great, but it's not available. So make another choice. Yeah, well, I'm not running to the store right now. Like, it's time to eat. Yeah.
And
Oh,
that's
cool.
cool that they have it for kids. That that meal prep service.
Yeah, well, I think that's part of like some of this convenience stuff that people are coming out with, is that they're realizing that it's so easy to get things that are like pre-processed and pre-prepared with like takeout and all that other stuff, which is fine. But then it's not necessarily like you want to do that every day. And so this has been a great option. I mean, we've implemented the same thing in our household. And actually, because of Kacey, she recommended, and her experience was good. And I was like, oh, this is fantastic. And it's saved us a ton of time and has really been able to give us, like I was saying, just more diversity in what we're eating, because we're not eating the same soup every day like I was doing.
Before. Do you find it's pretty
I'm
cost
so
efficient?
excited. It depends on the service, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah. I don't know, Casey, about how you feel, but for me, it's definitely cheaper than doing takeout, but it is a bit more expensive than what I could do at the grocery store. But I don't think, I don't
You
know
also
how
get
much.
time, your time's worth, want to spend
Yeah,
time with your family and your kids, like, that's worth some stuff too.
for sure.
I
And
agree.
just the nutritious part of it. I mean, it would, the amount of time that it takes to prepare 5 different meals, all with different ingredients, all ingredients have something valuable to them. That's really hard to do consistently, especially during the week. Like I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to end up eating leftover soup every day.
That's exactly how I feel about the meal prep, because I did the math on my favorite one, and big sticker shock here, it comes out to about $17 a meal after all of the shipping and all of those costs. And that's a huge price tag. That's what I would spend if I would go out to eat and I wouldn't cook and clean up after myself. And what I want to appreciate about the meal delivery services are the variety that they give me. Because if I'm cooking at home, then I'm purchasing a whole head of broccoli, and we're maybe using half for a recipe that goes in with other vegetables. And so I'm left over with half a head of broccoli. Where do I put this? Where can it go? Do I freeze it? Do I make it in something else? Well, now I've got to buy extra ingredients. And so I found myself in a food waste loop when I was buying different ingredients to get a variety into my diet. And so even though they are expensive on the dollar signs, I'm not wasting as much food as I was at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then the service that I use is a bit less expensive than that. And so I will say it does come in plastic packaging. So I don't love that, but the one that came with the bamboo packaging for me didn't have enough vegetarian options. And I needed a little bit more from a vegetarian diet. And so I found a local place here in Jacksonville that the meals come out to be, I think they're about $9 a meal. And then we can pick them up, super close to the house. So
Nice.
it's a little bit better. And like I said, there's like actually really good vegetarian options. So, and pescatarian. I mean, we do eat some fish. So So yeah, it like I said, there's pros and cons for sure. There's pros and cons, but no cleanup during the week and no cooking during the week. And every night you're getting like different nutrients in your diet, all with they're balanced, as far as protein and whatnot. So yeah. So I think the other question we were talking about, food has been a big topic, but Kacey, what are other ways that you stay hydrated?
I carry around my bottle, how I showed you guys what I was drinking today. So I carry it around and I make it a point that I want to drink 3 of these. So they're about
There you go.
22, 24 ounces. And so it's 3 is my goal. And I usually hit it, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
What number is that today?
Actually, I'm working on 4.
Oh,
very good.
there you go.
Your goal.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest strategies that I use, especially on the weekends, is like myself and then, the family, we all kind of fill our water bottles at the beginning of the day and then keep them with us as much as possible. Whether we're going in the car, bring the water bottle with us, if we're outside doing yard work, water bottle comes with us. And then if you see it, you're just so much more inclined to drink it.
I feel like a lot of times we also underestimate how much being hydrated helps us and is beneficial, and also like how it really affects us when we're not, both with energy, hunger, all of those, how you're feeling overall. I've noticed, for me at least, when I'm doing really well with drinking a lot of water, I feel great. And when I'm drinking water, I don't count anything else I'm drinking. So like I have my goal of my 64 ounces of water, but at like my Diet Coke that I'm having right now, I don't count that in my 64 ounces, So I do notice like my water intake really affects just overall how I feel, how hungry I am, things like that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally get that. So Kacey, are there any questions that you have for us?
I don't think so. Actually, if either of you do know anything about how to ramp up my smoothies, like I don't know if either of you have an opinion on fiber in its whole form in a whole vegetable versus my smoothies blended up. Because I love them so much, and then just taking them up to the next level. So any tips or tricks with smoothies or blended vegetables versus whole ones, raw versus cooked, any thoughts you guys have on that is interesting to me.
I'll say
I'll just take it.
Yeah, I'll say I love smoothies. And yeah, I would definitely say you can easily overcook your vegetables. And so when you do that, you're going to strip out the nutrients. And so if you're going to have a vegetable that's going to blend down a little bit easier, usually I'll do like a blanching process in order for it to just zap it, get it a little bit soft, cool it down, and then it'll blend a lot better into the smoothie. It depends on how texture sensitive you are. I'm texture sensitive, so I don't love, if I'm drinking something, to then chew it a lot as well, which sometimes if you put raw in there, it gets it makes me gag. Okay, it does. I gag. And so like I like the blanching process. And then same thing with like my greens is I'll just steam them a little bit, so that way they're softer, and then I find like I get a smoother consistency. But again, it's kind of easy to overcook it, and then you're kind of stripping some of the nutrients from that. So yeah, blanching, just bring something up to a boil, drop it in for a minute or 2, sometimes 3, depending on how hard it is, and then put it onto some like ice, to cool it off real quick, strain it and then put it on some ice, and then I'll put that into the smoothie. And then from there, it's just based on flavor. So if you want to add banana or blueberries or strawberries, I stick to darker fruits typically, just because they have more of those like antioxidants and whatnot, just because fruit's going to have that sugar in it. So I want to get the most out of the fruit that I'm going to eat. So I usually do a darker fruit with it. And I usually always will add, I prefer, instead of like, just like water or something, I'll put in oat milk. And there's like some good stuff in oat milk as well. So I put that in, and then some sort of like a protein powder. So that way I'm getting some, and it's all like plant-based protein. I can read the ingredients on the back of the container. So it's not full of chemicals. So as far as like the fiber part, you're going to get the fiber from the vegetables for sure. And the rest of it's really going to be more based on taste and what you're looking for. Like, how green do you want it? How fruity do you want it? How proteiny do you want it? And then you just kind of keep blending from there as far as like what you like. I like dark fruits. I like celery, but not too much. Like, I'm not a celery juice person. Is that, I don't know if y'all have had celery juice. Like, it's okay. It's good. It needs help. I know it's apparently really healthy. I don't look forward to drinking celery juice though. And if I don't look forward to drinking it, I'm not going to. So
Celery is not my celery is not my thing. I will drink a apple cider vinegar like with water and stuff like that before I'll have celery.
Yeah.
That is one thing I had that I found that was really helpful was like, but you got to be able to take the taste of the apple cider vinegar, and it's strong.
Yeah. I've done that a little bit, but again, that was something I think I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be consistent with this. Whereas like the smoothies, like Kacey was saying earlier, like you look forward to it. So like I look forward to the smoothie.
Yeah.
It tastes good. I can blend it to have what I want with it. Also having a flavor that I can tolerate and a texture I can tolerate. So it's, kind of try and get the best of both worlds, healthy, and enjoyable, which we can do. So it's possible. And then that could be a full meal or it's a snack. It just depends on how much you put in it. Yeah. Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, Kacey, for coming on. We really, really appreciate it.
Yes,
And
thank you.
Yeah. So next month, what we are going to get started into is going to be a series about stress awareness. And it's, the whole month of April, that's what we're going to be talking about. We're going to have a couple people on that work in the mental health field, and we're going to ask them about stress awareness. And so it's going to be tons of fun. We can learn lots. So Dr. Bobby, you want to tell us about what the challenge is going to be this week?
Yeah, so our challenge this week is to grab, the next time you go take a workout, grab that 24 ounce bottle, fill it with water, and try to have it finished, maybe not during the workout, but after the workout, at some point near that workout. Try to finish a 20 to 24 ounce bottle of water.
All right. So thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.